Greetings, humans. Are you? Look, I blend. Jamie Kennedy, hate to break it to you. When you see this little background, you know I'm somewhere on the road. And now I'm in Las Vegas, having an amazing time at Skankfest. My second year here. Best festival for comedy. Off the hook. Busier than ever. Highly recommend if you are a fan of uncensored comedy, come to Skankfest. It's awesome. I hope it's a regular thing for me every year. It's just new faces, old faces, just everybody, all types. So thank you, Skankfest. Amazing time. Okay, so I'm just gonna get into it right now. I'm sitting here, and I'm just thinking of the different things going on in the world. There's a lot going on right now. Obviously, there always is, but it feels different. I did a pod last night. My shirt really does blend. It's so funny. I did a thing last night talking about Hollywood and saying that Hollywood is becoming darker by the hour. And it's just bumming me out. And yeah, you can say there's bright spots, obviously, and there's good people, obviously, and stuff like that. But why do we have to walk amongst piles of shit to find a place to sit? Why is this a shit-filled business? And I'm saying every business has got their shit. Academia, shit, scumbags there. Wall Street, scumbags, real estate, I'm sure. Wall Street doesn't actively preach about itself and have magazines devoted to itself. I mean, some, but of how moral they are. Not that Hollywood says it's moral, but it's all an op, man. It's just everything's hitting me. None of it is real. It's all a work. Everything is rigged. And I believe everything is rigged. And I'm going to go back to this, but I'm going to start with the simplest one. Here's an example. I love sports. I'm not like a sports dork, meaning like I'm not a guy who gets together with all of his friends. I don't really have any friends. I mean, I could have friends. I have a couple friends, but I don't have like a group of guys and we're like, okay, what'd your guy do? You know, that's sports dorkery, meaning they believe in the actual, like they put so much importance on something that's so not important. The important part of sports in the world is the air of competition, the drama, thrill of victory, agony of defeat. That's the best part about sports. And also the other part is the health aspect, like healthy exercising in the sun, self-accomplishment. So a great sporting event is as good, or if not better, really it's better than a dramatic movie if it's real, because it's real. So if you're watching the end of, Pulp Fiction and you're on the edge of your seat, a great sporting event should make you feel like that. And that's that's why I never really had teams. I did for the Eagles for a while and they bummed me out so bad because I'm glad they won a Super Bowl, but it hurt me because for years I would lose, but I didn't tie my life to it once I became successful. And a lot of people do, and that's okay. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, at least that's like the one thing we have. And it is 100% in some capacity, I believe that sports are rigged. Again, set up by the big systems, because everything is a distraction to keep you away from over here. And we're in full distraction season. The fall is full distraction season between all the different sports. And now with the WNBA coming hot, I mean, forget it. And I'm going to tell you why this is rigged, and I make a good argument for it. A, because there's too much money. B, betting is legal now, which is bullshit. Shout out to my father, God rest his soul, who was the first man in on gambling. My father was a beautiful soul. The real RFK, Robert F. Kennedy was his name. He was the first in on gambling. So my father's was an addict. And my father would bet on football games, and then he'd bet on what color uniforms, 2 cockroaches run into a wall, which cockroach is going to hit the wall first. Like, he'd bet on anything. Beautiful soul, give you the shirt off his back. But he was I used to get pools, and I would have kids in school would run hustles with football pools, and he would say he had his bookie and this bookie, and he says, get one of those kids if you like them. I'll let them do another bookie for me, be a bookmaker over here. And I said, okay. So I had a kid named Butch who did that when I was ninth grade. I said, my dad's a gambler. And I guess if he won, I'd get a cut, maybe. I don't think he won, though. But then I learned more about my father because there's so much I don't know about him because he never told us much. He was a vault. But one of the things he told me was, I'm realizing as I do these pods, you get to know about me because I like to go into the backstory to give you real context. So, I'm an intimate storyteller. And this is why I like to do a lot alone because people interrupt me all the time. I tell you things as they come to my head, but I try to stay focused. My father literally did what they call running the numbers. So my grandfather was a total degenerate. I'm learning this stuff. Apparently, he was the club champion in 3 different country clubs in Tennessee as a golfer, incredible golfer. And which I wish I knew earlier because I would have played more golf. But I always was drawn to golf, but I was annoying. But like I hit it. My golf high school coach, I only made 1 year and then he cut me. But I didn't care. He was like, you have a naturally good swing. So I was like, oh, okay. But I was like, what are you going to do with golf? Golf wasn't sexy. I didn't know golf was going to become sexy. So he was a golfer, degenerate. My father, in the late 30s, when he was like 8 or 9 years old, would take a bag of numbers and you would say, take these numbers over to there, to another shoe shop, between like a sandwich shop and a shoe shop. And my dad would run the numbers. That's what's called running the numbers. And they'd put the bets on horses and dogs, I guess, anything. Long story, not boring, is gambling is in my blood. So now gambling's everywhere. And I'm like, this shit is my life, but I never really, I did it. I have a lot of history with it, but I actually think you can win. You have to have a Sharpie. So this is why sports is rigged, because there's too much money on it. Now it's more popular than ever. And they're stealing from the hardworking man. And it's not fair. Because I'm going to tell you, so the Dallas kicker was 100% perfect, I believe, between 50 and 58 yards. Some statistic. He's perfect in like the last 2 years. They're playing a game. It's in the Houston Dome. It's not outside. And Dallas is getting 5.5. So right now the score is 20-15. Dallas is winning with 10 seconds left against the Giants. Dallas is getting 5.5. And 80% of the money was on Dallas. 82% on Dallas in Vegas. So let's just say there was 30 million on Dallas. If there's 30 million on this bet total at Vegas, 26 million of it is on Dallas. The kicker has to make the field goal from Dallas to get the half a point, because it'll be 3 points and Dallas will be up by 8. That is not what I looked at. So this is the first ever kick. So they're indoors. The line, Dallas needs a half a point. They didn't punt it, which they easily could have. They didn't want to go for the touchdown. And there's 22 seconds left. So watch this. And you look at it.
This will be a 51-yard attempt.
Now look at it.
Oh,
Look.
of all things.
80% on it. They're indoors. The guy's got a perfect track record. It's 51 yards. It's in his wheelhouse. And he kicks it. And the ball goes slow. It's going straight. And then it goes boop. Like that. It looked like it was remote controlled. Like, whoop. Look at it. You tell me. Boom. Dallas wins the game by 5. They were going to win anyway. They cover the spread because they have a half a point margin. Everyone goes, oh, damn, just a half a point. And 82% of the people lose their money. Feels weird to me. And there's countless things like that. But it's really starting to believe. And I believe football is the biggest sport in our country. Soccer is the biggest sport in the world. But if boxing is rigged, there can be things that make things rigged. So that's where it is. That was just too obvious. That kick, that time, that scenario, that amount of money, everything is a work. As I always talk about, I'm not a political person. All this happened in 2021. They told me, some lady wrote a thing and said, this is how you see radicalization in real time. I'm not the radical one. The fact that people attacked me for my movie made me look at this shit, and you literally manifested this. But the radical are the ones that won't see this shit. After all the things that are going on, this is my conclusion. If you are still voting left, I'm not saying Democrats are bad people. I'm not saying liberals are bad people. But it seems like the party has been taken over by non-logical people. If you're still voting left after all of this stuff, just the fact that there's been 2 attempts on life, with a 3rd weird thing happening in Arizona, and then Iran makes a video of how they would take out. So that's low-key 4 things. So 4 things. Okay. No one should be targeted. If you have to think about why do people want this man? First of all, let's just break it down what it could be. You can say there's a group of people that control the world, okay? And if they do, everything's a show, and you've got these people over here and walls now, just new players, and comes in as the villain, and it's wrestling. He's over here. We're so invested, and her and him, and we're like, oh my gosh. And it's literally between that and football and baseball and fucking PS, I don't know, there's just 25 different things that it takes our focus off of these bigger things. You could even say that Diddy is a distraction for a bigger thing. These are all potentials, but there's obviously truth coming out with it. So I talked to a few people, I won't name names, but one of them is very famous, and this person told me, I said, is the real deal? She said 100% yes, 100%. He is not a part of the game. We have to vote for him. He literally does not want us to turn into communism and other things. I said, are you sure? Now, this is a person who has his ear, and he is a fan of hers. And I said, yes. And she said, 100%. And this person has nothing to lose. And then another person I know who's got more political history than the first person, I asked him and I said, is an outsider? And he went, and this is a person that worked in a lot of different politics. And he said, He said, it's the most outsider that we'll get. And I said, was he an insider? He goes, most definitely was an insider. Pissed them off, went rogue, and now is an outsider. Is he still an insider? Like he wants like tax cuts for the rich and, you know, different things for rich guys? Of course. But he is a man of the people. So I said, so it's real. And he said, 100%. He goes, he was booted out, and now, because it's usually both candidates are controlled by the bigger things. And he goes, you'll see it. You'll see other people are with him. They want to deal with him because they know his power. And so I said, so it's real. He said, yeah. And I go, he goes, he told me this. He says, I don't like him as a person. He goes, his ego's too big and other things. Okay. I think it's hilarious. So if you're funny, you get away with a lot with me. My guy who said this, also very big. He's a guy with a very big, strong personality. So maybe they've clashed. I don't know. But he said, but I'll vote for him all day, every day. We have to vote for him. But he said, yeah, I don't like him as a person. He didn't like certain stuff about him, this and that, because he doesn't care. And he doesn't want to go. No one wants to go on record, and I get it. And I'm not lying to you. And I thought these are 2 good minds to pick that are from different places but similar. And I said, wow. And he said, yeah, dude, I don't give a what does personally, as long as he's not like, you know, illegal. Like, you know, obviously if there's illegal stuff, he doesn't back it. But he said that no, they're throwing the book at him, and that's all real. So it takes me back to this. In a world where we love an underdog, we love a kitten more than a cat. We love a puppy more than a pooch. We love a baby chick more than a chicken. I'm not saying we don't love all those other things, but we love innocence. We love an underdog. We feel for the bad. Obviously, is an older guy and a hardened animal. But he is a baby chick in this world because he never did it before and he won the first time. And he felt like everyone's coming to get him. That's why he's gotten so many followers. Because he talks to the people the way we want to talk. He seems level-headed. Who cares he has a huge ego? Hello. We all have huge egos. I'm sorry. People that don't say they don't have a huge ego don't have huge egos. They have huge egos. Okay? Everyone's a big mouth. Everyone's it's just not true. All the hardcore lefty people are just mad that is a bigger ego than their ego. Okay? They can't stop and look at themselves and go, yeah, I really am a big mouth sometimes. I really am a know-it-all. I really am a wine warrior. I drink wine. I think I know everything. I really am a miserable, shrew. I really am an angry cuck. I really am. I'm not saying not everybody, but these stereotypes fit, okay? And if you know what? Let's be honest. I'll start. I wear on my hat, the back of my head. There's some issues on the back of my head. I don't want you to go and judge me on my baldy right now. Some days I'll take it off, but I can admit it. So it goes back to that. Just admit that you have a little bald spot in your head. So, and I'll tell you why later. It's because I'm famous. People have a vision of me. I know. So I really go off the rails, but I hope the people that get me. So it goes all back to this. If you're a left-leaning person, after all of this stuff, after I just checked, I did all the checking. 2 people, they've told me he is real. He's in it to win it. He's in it to not do war. He's in it to be prosperous. He's in it to let things grow. And the other party is about suppressing. I mean, look, he brought in Tucker Carlson, kicked out. Seems like the biggest truth teller in media. Megyn Kelly, Alex Jones. He's been right on so many things. Russell Brand. All these people have been thrown out by the establishment. But yet, all the lemmings are still with the establishment. Which is telling you what? Everyone's going, don't go there. Don't. That's a bad part of town. Don't. And everyone's like, no, you're still like you're zombified. They're like, don't eat that. It will give you diarrhea. And everyone's like, well, how many more? I mean, you have all these people that are outsiders that were deep insiders. And they're like, no, it's a dirty game. So 27 minutes for that to tell you that if you are still voting left, you are either one of 3 things. You are either brainwashed, which I will not judge you. I'm annoyed at you, angry that you can't stop and look at yourself and look at everything and go, is 2 and 2 4? That's why they keep changing the math. That's why they keep making dick and pussies dussies. They're making them one thing because they don't want you to have any base reality anymore. Since once they confuse you on your ball sack, you're confused about everything because you're like, I thought my dick was my dick. You're telling me my dick is my clit? Again, this isn't for the people that are tortured, that literally came out of the womb like that and lived their life and now they're 48 years old and they want to change. This is not for you. I'm sorry for your pain and you have to live your life to be happy. I'm talking about the movement, which became very, very popular in the last 5 years, that we know is some brainwashing. It's not hate. It's just a real thing. Do I need a gay guy to come on here to tell you, yeah, this is intense, okay? So they're confusing base reality, okay? CNN had the audacity to say, this is a banana. And if someone tells you it's anything other than a banana, they're lying. CNN, we only deal in truth. I'm like, that was the dumbest ad because you're liars all day. So, look, if you're brainwashed, snap out of it! Look around you! Forget your friend group. Forget your work group. Forget your social circle. They're not your friends. Snap the out of it. It's okay. Only a real man can walk alone. Walk alone. Go out of your house, your apartment, your cardboard box, whatever you're in, and walk and go, what the are my belief system? don't expect you to change overnight. I don't expect you to even change a lot. Just be open to the possibility that everything you have been sold is a work. It is WWE. And we'll start at the baby reality of just for money and power. That's just the baby reality. There's many more levels to it. But let's just start you there. If you got a beach house and you love your beach house and you're always drinking White Claws and barbecuing, and it's unlimited White Claws and barbecue and big butted housewives that come over when your wife's not there. If you could have that for eternity, would you want to mess it up? That's what the elite are. A guy that doesn't want to lose his beach house. You could say, well, what, do you have some elite? Yeah, sure. I'm very financially privileged, okay? I've done well. I believe I worked hard, and I got some breaks. But I don't have that mindset of over you. I believe I can have a Del Taco burrito, and you can have one too. And if it's big enough, I like to share it. I don't have to give you half. I'll give you a quarter. If I'm really hungry, I'll give you half. Not hungry, I'll give you half. Anyway, that's number one. Number two, if you're voting left, you're getting paid. And there's multiple people that I know, at least 3 people, little influencers, that are cucking so hard for, which is, that's fine, you can like her, but no one knew who she was 3 months ago. And now these people are like, oh, she's the greatest, she did this, she did that. Where people are saying that her grandmother wasn't even alive when they took this picture with her. There's a picture, and that, like, who they say her birth grandmother was, that there's a work in her backstory. The whole thing what was doing with the black and Indian thing is not to be an asshole or a racist. It's just to say, yo, if she's lying about that, what else is she lying about? That's all. Personally, I know we're not allowed to speak on it, but I'm black. I'm going to tell you why. Because the original bones of human remains, the first bones of man, was found in Pretoria, Africa. Pretoria, look it up. It's called the Cradle of Man. It's where the first bones of any human being were ever found, and it's Pretoria, South Africa. So, I could say this because I came from those bones, so I'm black. There's black in me, not in me. Get it? No Diddy. And the other thing is, I've shot 3 movies in South Africa, 1 in Pretoria. Tremors 5, Tremors 6. So I have privilege. No, but it's true. So don't we all have a little black in us? So do I think Kamala's black? Of course. But she definitely probably has some Indian. It shouldn't matter. None of it matters. I don't care. I don't care if she's Irish, black, Chinese, Arab. I don't care. I just, I want someone to be honest, or if they're not honest, be a good liar. So that's why that whole thing is being said, not because of racism. So, and the third thing, if you are still voting left, is you're a deviant. You're a deviant, and you like your deviant ways, and there's levels to deviancy, as we know. There's the pre-1 a.m. Diddy, which is, not deviant if you're having a good time, everyone's hanging out. If you go to a Diddy party and you meet a chick, and it's consensual, and everyone's above age, and you have a couple drinks, and you left that party, let's just be rational, and you guys hooked up, and it's been, a couple decades, and you guys have always been cool, that's totally normal. That's just, apparently they say at 1 a.m., these things change. That's number one. I'm just saying, you're a deviant. You like deviant things. You're a deviant. You can't just have normal sex. I'm not saying you have to be monogamous. I'm just saying you're a deviant. You're a little bit of a perv. You could be a lot of a perv. I don't know. But you know that the left supports the do not judge me culture. So the goal lines, like that field goal, just keep getting pushed back and back and back and back. And soon, your dog up the ass will be considered a holiday. Did I say that? And you think that's crazy, but I saw this, and this is not a gay thing. So if you're gay, someone defend this statement. I do a gay show every week. I love gay people. I love straight people. This is a belief system thing. The Pride Parade in San Francisco, there was no one under 21 should be able to not go to a Pride event. It should be 21 and up. That's my opinion. Or maybe 18. I don't know. Adult. If it's a parade and it's cute, fine. But the other stuff gets crazy. When the thongs and different stuff, that's nothing. At the Pride event, I'll show you a video. I don't want to show it to you. You can look it up. There was a pool where a woman could urinate on people's faces in a pool, a little inflatable pool. And it was a section of the event. That's deviancy. That's more than deviancy. That's degeneracy. That's actually disturbing. I saw the video. It came up on Twitter, and I love X, but this is the problem with it. It shows you so much. I don't want to see it. And I'm just going to be blunt. She was a stream of piss defacing this guy, and people were lining up. I almost puked. That's not a gay thing. That's not a trans thing. That's not a non-binary thing. That's a degeneracy thing. I'm sure half of those guys in there were straight. Sure. I'm sure some were gay. That's just a degenerate thing. Unfortunately, the degenerates hijacked the gays. Do you understand? They hijacked the gay day. So now a lot of people that don't do critical go, the gays did it, which all you have to do is walk down Sweetser and 3rd, and the best lawns in the business are all gay. The best houses, the best yawn. The gays come to your neighborhood, property values up 300%. Done deal. This is not a gay thing. Man, I'm making such a point right now. It's a degeneracy thing dressed up as a gay thing. But if you want to go deeper, it goes back to our old buddy, Satan. And it's a Satan thing. Satan. I'm going to make him Spanish. Hello, Satan. Yo. Satan was getting in these minds. So anyway, let's make this very clippable. If you're still considering the left after everything I just told you, assassination attempts, multiple sources telling me it's legit, that his run is for that. Even people that don't personally like him still believe in him. If how he's targeted, I'm clearly not a perfect person. I'm clearly not. Clearly there's a lot of stuff there. But you have to look at that and go, is he targeted? Are they trying to take him out because he's gonna f shit up in a good way? And all these Hollywood players are successful. I'm successful too. Yes, I may not be in mainstream stuff as much as you think or see or whatever, but I do a lot of stuff. It doesn't behoove me to talk to you about this. I'm only doing it because it feels good. And I'm like walking around thinking I'm in a insane asylum. The whole world is Fremont Street. Fremont Street makes more sense to me than the world at the moment. This Hollywood makes Fremont Street look like a beautiful day in the park. Low key, Hollywood makes Fremont Street look like a nunnery. And that's crazy because there's a lady that dresses up like a nun on Fremont Street. Look it up. So if you're voting left, you're one of three things: brainwashed, getting paid, or a deviant. That's it. Somebody said, I'm so tired of these doom and gloomers. I'm not a doom and gloomer. Go out. This guy said, go out in the sun, hold your hand with your girl, have a great meal. Yeah, dick bag. I do all that. And the whole reason I talk is because I want to keep doing that. It's not like I sit here 24 hours jerking it to doomsday. It's that I'm like, this shit invaded my life. I'm like minding my own business. So I'm like, that's weird. Yo, hold on, that's weird. I went up for an audition. They wouldn't see me because I was a white male, and we need diversity, which is great. But like, okay, that's new. And then wait, they're not going to see me because I'm not authentically gay, but it was a gay role. But I can act gay. Well, you're not. It started affecting that. Oh, I say this joke in a club. That's offensive. I can't. Well, so if I didn't start getting things, I'm not saying I should have carte blanche, but I should have basic rights to exercise my art and be the best man for the job or woman. You should be able to play different characters. You should be able to tell jokes within a safe space that people understand what it is. And obviously with nuance. But once that started happening, I started looking around and I started seeing it affecting all walks of life and everybody's world, from accountants to people that work at Sephora to here to people that work at Del Taco and whatever. I'm like, this is my job. So I say it. Rant complete. This Diddy shit, I would go to Miami. I remember I stayed at one of these, the greatest hotel. You know what it is. Anyway, it's a great hotel. And I'm like, some kind of Asian Pacific's the hotel. And I would stay there, and I'm like, I have the best view. I was doing this whole commercial campaign, and I had the best view of Star Island. And Star Island is where the creme de creme live, and houses don't start for under 35 million, I'd say. And the big thing was that Diddy had a house there years ago. It was 50 million. And I'm like, how does this... I get how he had money because I understood his deals, big record contracts, all this stuff. I get that. And then J-Lo, and then you have ballers that have contracts. But I'm like how am I? And I drive by, and I still had a great suite and all this stuff. And, I have a limo. And I'm living my life, but I'm just like, why am I not on Star Island? Like, why am I not on... I'm like measured rich. And I'm really starting to believe that everybody that really gets above is placed to do as is placed. Like, that's always been a conspiracy theory that, the big players are doing the bidding of the bigger players. They send them out. And I think it's everywhere. I'm not saying there's not normal players because I'm one. But controlled bigger rooks and kings in the game. And I'd like to say I'm not a pawn, maybe I'm a bishop. But if I'm a pawn in a high game. And because I'm just like, this is just, how are these people doing it? How are these people? And now, like I said on my post, this shit gets exposed, which a lot of people don't think it will. If it does, if you just get one name that is so shocking to the public, maybe it'll wake people up. I mean, look, there's a difference between people understanding it, people not understanding it, people being too drunk to make... If people are going in and just hooking up and they don't know who they're hooking up with and they thought everything was copacetic, that obviously is blackmail. If there's people going in knowingly doing things, knowing that they're not copacetic, that's obviously high-end crime and more than deviancy. So we'll see how it all plays out. But like I said, it gets me bummed out about Hollywood because, I was bummed out about Bill Cosby. Harvey Weinstein, yeah. Did he abuse his power? Definitely. But do I think some actresses went up there thinking they were, gonna work the system? 100%. Is that a popular opinion? No. This feels like a straight up the dirtiest ring yet, along with Epstein. But, they won't let us all the details with Epstein, just some of it. And look, there's going to be people catching strays. There's going to be people that are going to be exposed. And there's other people that are just going to be rotten. But if you look at how people are connected, there's a difference between somebody in a picture with Diddy, because he was everywhere. There might be a picture with me somewhere with Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Go look for it. I don't think so. I've met him a couple of times. Like, I've talked about it. But, and then really hanging. Okay. So, just so you understand, I'm going to play a clip for you. I want you to listen to this, and I want you to tell me if this makes sense to you. I could go on an hour on each clip.
When I was Attorney General, I learned that the California Department of Corrections, which was a client of mine, I didn't get to choose my clients.
Right, a client of the Attorney General.
A client of the Attorney General, right. Of the Office of Attorney General, that they were standing in the way of surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. And there was a specific case. And when I learned about the case, I worked behind the scenes to not only make sure that that transgender woman got the services she was deserving. So it wasn't only about that case. I made sure that they changed the policy in the state of California so that every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access to the medical care that they desired and need. And I believe it was not only, I know it was historic in California, but I believe actually it may have been one of the first, if not the first in the country, where I pushed for that policy in a Department of Corrections.
I'm going to say one word to you. Pander! Pander! How are you feeling today? I'm feeling a little panderish. Look, the only way to really talk about this is to break it down beat by beat. But the clip speaks for itself. Okay? This is every reason, and I don't know anything about Harris. I just feel that she was put here all of a sudden, and we're all just supposed to accept her. So I'm doing my own little research. So, This is the example of why I would not vote for her, if our votes even count. So first off, she's talking to a trans. I think it was a man to a woman. So she's already, licking the boots. Okay, she's already like, yeah, let me make sure I can make this person happy. Prisoners. She's Attorney General, and she discovered that prisoners, people that commit crimes against society, that do everything we're told in our base reality, bad things, they didn't have rights. So we're like, rights? Wait, they didn't get food? They didn't get water? They didn't get air? They didn't get beds? They didn't get to shower? What rights? This is terrible. They're persecuting them. What rights? So a person wanted to transition, and they were a prisoner, and they were in jail, and they're not happy living their life as a man or a woman. So she attacked the case and made sure, according to her words, not mine, that this person got the care that they were being prejudiced from or against, because people are prejudiced. So it wasn't that the people weren't getting the care. They got all the same treatment as all the other inmates. They got preferential treatment. Preferential. So this goes so deep on so many levels, okay? Let me finish it. Satan's biggest trick was to show the world, convince the world that he never existed. And I'm giving him a gender. So people that feel sexually confused, gender confused, she pushed. So I guess this person got the surgery according to her. And she was the first person to do that in the correctional system. So when they're in jail, I don't know. If they're up for armed robbery for 2 years and they're like, I want to change for that. No. Should we, the taxpayer, pay for that? No. First of all, here's the base level. How about fixing a pothole? How about fixing the guardrails on the 405? How about fixing the 110 overpass? How about going easy on our parking meters? How about taking the homeless and giving them a can of beans before you give a guy a set of beans? Like, it's just, no, where's our priorities here, okay? I'm sorry, man. In the real world, it's the real world, but in the prison system, it's prison. You already did something that put you under the 8 ball here. So we're not going to bend over backwards. But if our whole house is in order, here's what I would do. Our whole house is in order. California's cash flow positive. The roads are clean. The homeless is less. There's a flow of jobs. The entertainment business is not leaving. Crime is down. And the Dodgers can win something, although they kind of are. Ohtani, shout out. After all that, just get Sunset Boulevard popping again and open up Hyde and shit. After all that, then maybe I would go to the correctional facility and say, all right, this dude doesn't like his penis anymore. Let's figure this out. If it's like a lifer. But if it's like, a person that's only in there for a couple years, no. But if it's a lifer and he's shown good, see what I'm doing? I'm extending the olive branch. Like, I'm using reason here. Like, if it's a person that has shown amazing behavior and their crime wasn't heinous and they're in the prison system, okay. But it just can't be carte blanche. So let's just go so deep here. I'm the first to do this in the state of California. Congrats. They snitch on themselves, which is not snitching on themselves. You know what they're doing? You know what she's doing? Do you know what she's doing? She's revealing the method. You understand this? This is a revealing of the method. I mean, it's just common sense. This stuff is math. She's not snitching on herself. She's telling you, I approve that. I, the woman that wants to be the leader that the establishment likes, I approve that these men or these women can change in prison. Okay. And now, what did I say earlier? I got it approved for that place. I got it approved for the system. And I got it approved for all the state of California. That now it is a statewide thing. That if you want to transition in jail, the state has to afford you that. And that means you are paying. Well, what does that mean? It started with the jail, then went through the correctional facilities. Now it's in the state of California. When she's president, it'll be all the jails. You understand? A reach. Keep pushing the goal lines. What did I say earlier? Now it'll become a worldwide thing because there's other leaders that agree with her. What is that? Confused base reality. Start with gender, start with sexuality. Everything is everything. No judgments. Everyone lead with joy, lead with peace. Everybody's happy. What are we doing? Oh, there's no judgments. Boom. The next thing you know, you know. And who likes to do that more than anything? Don't judge me. Do whatever you want. What belief system is that? Is Mr. Satan. Am I wrong? Can you tell me in the comments if I'm wrong? Do you see how I just tiny dots connect and it makes sense logically? People who have a sexual dysmorphia, I feel bad for. People that are trapped and really want to live their life another gender, who have been pained, I feel for you, and you should. If you're over 18, do whatever you want. That's my opinion. I don't think anyone under the age of 18 should be able to do this. But it's not about that. It's about pushing ideologies and just saying, hey, now prisoners have to do it. This is the same thing as, this is what people do. This is what they do. This is what gaslighting individuals do. Because that is a beautiful clip, because it's couched as something so helping, but you're doing all the work for her because it's really an agenda of intensity. That's all I want to say, is because if you commit a crime, you're getting extra privileges to change your gender. And I just didn't do it in that jail. I did it all in California. I want to do it across America. Do you not see that? You want to give prisoners and prisoners who are didn't do terrible things a better basketball court? I'll pay for taxes all day. I'll pay for a stage and a microphone. I'll pay for recording equipment. I will pay in my taxes for them to have better art supplies, better things for them to do to help their mind. I couldn't imagine being in prison. Violent criminals, heinous criminals, no. Sorry. They got to be over there. Just a carte blanche thing with no nuance. It's odd. It's odd. Now, I'm going to tell you something. And I don't usually like to speak on this, but... And I'd love to be on her pod. I don't think she'd address it. So it's just a tweet. So Hawk Tua Girl has a pod, after going viral, for her very cute, very hilarious clip of her saying, spit on that dang. And we've seen females say, dirty things on the internet, but it wasn't so much that it was dirty. It was like a cute, loving way she did it, and girl next door. Anyway, the rest is history. She became a thing for doing a clip. I've never met her. She seems like a sweet person. It's just reported that her podcast is number 3 across all podcasts. Rogan, Tucker, Talk Tua. Rogan, Tucker, Talk Tua. Now, I know all of Rogan's history in many different forms of life. He's, you can say, disrupted and pioneered 4 or 5 different forms of things in his life. And I know Tucker's history in also 4 or 5 between the different things he's done. But Talk Tua. Now, this isn't a judgment against her. She seems like a very sweet person. This is a question. Is this a definition of a plant? The greats have been telling this for a while. Plant! Plant! Why? She's cute, she's lovable, she's sweet, girl next door. Said something a little dirty, a little, ooh, like old school sexual, like the way she was cute about it. Not so disgusting the way the world is now. Gets huge guests off the bat. Is she an organized distraction? No hate, only love. I'm just asking, because that sounds wild. I don't know what her angle is on her pod. There's a lot of pods, very good ones. Obviously, there's a lot of shitty ones.
I'm sure that you hear from progressive voters, Democratic voters who say, as I hear from them on social media, the media made such a big deal out of Joe Biden's alleged cognitive problems. Why don't they talk about Donald Trump's cognitive problems? Well, Donald Trump talked about that just a second ago, and I want to get your reaction. Let's run that clip.
They laugh at us all over the world. They're laughing at us. And you know what they're really laughing at? Kamala, because they can't believe that she's going to be president. They can't believe. You talk about cognitive problems? She's got bigger cognitive problems than he has, in my opinion.
Donald Trump saying that Kamala Harris has bigger cognitive problems than Joe Biden.
By the way,
even cover that.
she seems like she's a
person who's not on the level. He is a
I know people
nominee
sometimes
for
say I
president.
mumble and slur words.
He is incompetent.
I sometimes tape these
Let's
at
not
3 in the
even
morning.
talk about
And I do
the
a ton of
silliness
things.
of it all.
But
and
my
the
life is getting
weirdness of
very
it all, and the
streamlined,
assault on
so I'll
women that
be
it
more
is. We're
sleeping,
not going to talk issues.
and I'll be more awake.
Incompetent.
But she
the
definitely
only thing
seems
he did as president,
like there's times
the only
where
thing
she
he did
definitely
as
had a
president when he
nip
had the majority
on the bottom.
was to pass a bill
Now listen
that
to
gave
this.
83 tax cut that gave 83 of the benefits to the top 1%, adding $2 trillion to the national debt. The worst job creation record of anybody president since Herbert Hoover.
Because of COVID, yes.
Here's a cognitive dissident. Why would you even cover that? Because it's news. He doesn't matter. Just dismiss him. I'm 84. My hair looks great. Why would you even cover that? That's like me going, hey, that is so old school, old lady bullshit. Like, hey, you got that $1,000 you owe me? Why do you even ask me? I'll get it to you. What's up? What's your problem? You know who says that? Fucking people that are hiding something. And this fucking turd goes, she drugged Jake Tapper. No, she didn't. The fact that Jake Tapper's even pushing on her is good. Because I didn't think that guy was like that. Why would you even cover that? How dare you question something? He said she's more cognitively impaired than Biden, which he was being funny, but it also sounds like he was being honest. He doesn't believe she has the cognitive abilities to be the leader of the free world that we're fighting to keep free. That's an assault on women. Shut up! I hate that shit. Can you criticize a female without being called a misogynist? Jesus Christ. Help me. You can criticize dudes all day. What is that called? Dudeologist? No, there's dudes that are assholes. You can criticize a black person if they did something wrong. Is that racist? Like, I don't get it. Do Chinese women drive through villages with a basket on their bike? Yes. Do most of them? No, not in America. We've seen it. This is what makes me nuts. I have problems with some of the stuff he did. He should have just been said he's scared like all of us, and let's figure this out. That's a whole other pod. Yeah, I had issues with how he attacked it too. But to sit there and bring up and say all this money came out just because it's like, that's nothing to do with what we're talking about. Stay focused. He just said that she might not be fit mentally, and then she didn't want to admit it. People who died during is terrible, and it's tragic. Let me just say this. But also, why don't you say that a lot of people that died, that it wasn't from, that it was written down as a death, but it was something else, or it was a mix of multiple things, and was part of it. Please say that. Will you ever say that? No, you won't. I can't even say it here. What's that tell you? I can't even say it here. What does that tell you? They tried to shut you up. If they try to shut you up, why? Don't tell mommy that you saw me with the neighbor. Shut the up. That's a bad kid. Well, I saw you go, shut the up. Like, if someone's trying to be silenced, that's it. Beware of the silencer. Beware of the person that doesn't want you to talk. Listen, guys, too much going on. I gotta go. I gotta do a show. Skankfest 2024, the best comedy festival in the world. Like, subscribe, go to my Patreon. I'm gonna be doing a lot more stuff there because it's the only place you can really let it all hang out. But I'll keep it light for here. Much love. Peace.